Sex sells even when it involves a 15-year-old. So many people jammed Vanity Fair's website to see those controversial photos of tween star Miley Cyrus that the whole thing crashed. Her parents are said to be mortified, while famed celebrity photographer Annie Leibovitz is defending her photo of the half-naked teen, calling it, quote, beautiful. But beauty's in the eye of the beholder, especially for the shocked parents of the Hannah Montana star. Here's NBC's Rahema Ellis.
You've seen the picture. Now take a look behind the scenes of the photo shoot. As seen here, Miley's dad was photographed with his daughter for the Vanity Fair June issue. But her publicist says her parents were not present for this photo. For its part, Vanity Fair says, quote, Miley's parents and/or minders were on the set all day. Miley says she's embarrassed and has apologized. But none of this seems to matter to parents of kids who idolize Miley Cyrus. Who is this on your shirt?
Oh.
Can we take a look at who's on your shirt?
Oh, look at who's on her shirt.
Look at who's on your shirt. Wow. So is this a surprise for you?
It is a surprise for me. And I just don't understand why these young TV stars, whose whole purpose of being is to attract young children like my daughter, would risk their careers making moves like this.
Everyone we talked to agreed.
I feel sad.
Point it out to your daughter. I'm going to move it over here so I don't let your daughter see it. How would you explain this to your daughter?
I'm not sure. I think I'd be really honest with her. Tell her to respect her body and that it's private, especially at that age.
It is sort of disappointing as a parent to see that that photo is out there.
Are you giving up on Miley Cyrus because of these?
No.
But she and other parents are hopeful there won't be anything else from Miley Cyrus that they'll need to explain or hide from their children. For today, Rahema Ellis, NBC News, New York.
Ruth Peters is a clinical psychologist and Today contributor, and Joanna Saltz is the executive editor of 17 magazine. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Ruth, hey, Ruth, if I could start with you. You heard those moms obviously concerned about these pictures, and what do they say to their daughters, and what message does it send to young girls? If you are the parent of a young girl like Al, what do you say to your child? Do you show them the picture?
Absolutely. I would grab this as a teachable moment, and I would kind of use this as an analogy to even she is giving into peer pressure. This is celebrity peer pressure doing something that's probably very inappropriate, and there are vast consequences that are going to be coming from this. So use this, Meredith, with your kids. Let them see that this is a bigger thing than just a photo. And
there are more than these photos. Obviously, we talked earlier about all the ones that are on the internet that show her with friends in various poses. The one we're showing right now, it looks like she's pretending to kiss a girl, exposing her bra. There's one of her draped across the lap of a young man with her midriff exposed. The advice that you give to a daughter about those photos obviously would change depending on the age of your child.
Right. If you have a little one, you would, again, all of this you would say is very inappropriate and there would be consequences. But as your kids get a little older, I think you can again bring it into your own house by saying, now look, don't even consider doing anything like this on your MySpace. Look what happens. It's just as public as what's happening to this young lady. So you can say that people will judge you for these types of actions, and there's a lot of fallout and a lot of consequences. That's the message. Use this as a teachable moment for your kids in your home.
Joanna, you've said that your readers do not like to see young women sexualized, that you've become a Lindsay, Paris, and Britney-free magazine because readers complain. Do you think they're going to complain about Miley Cyrus?
Well, I think we need to ask ourselves one major question, which is what 15-year-old girl out there hasn't made a mistake? And I think what really sets Miley apart in this case is that she's owned up to her mistake.
She's apologized, said it was wrong.
I mean, the minute she feels like she overstepped a boundary, she said, I'm sorry, and what I did was inappropriate, whereas somebody like, Paris or Britney or Lindsay Lohan, just seem to have a blatant disrespect to the people who look up to them. I think that's the biggest thing that I'm learning from this situation, and I think that teens need to learn, is that you take ownership of your mistakes.
What about the other picture that appears in Vanity Fair? In some ways, this is even more disturbing to some folks. It's the picture of her with her dad, and she's sort of laying on top of him, and part of her midriff is exposed. Is that problematic for you, Joanna, that particular picture?
Well, I think we need to look at the fact that this was taken with the intention of being artistic, and I think that there was a momentary lapse of judgment, perhaps in the context of all of the other photos that have also surfaced. So this picture is being looked at, I think, is a little overly sexualized. They really were trying to create something beautiful with a famous photographer.
But that does raise the question, Ruth, when does artistic become possibly a little bit raunchy? or send the wrong message?
Meredith, I think this is just flat out weird, okay? And I think it's very inappropriate, and it does send the wrong message. And when you're going to have a momentary lapse of judgment, there are consequences to this, because you can't play it both ways. You can't be daddy's little girl, like a 5 or a 6 or 7-year-old, and be cuddled up in their arms, and then come on half naked with a sheet across you. You got to go one way or the other in where you're taking your career path and the message you're trying to send to your fans and to their mothers who are paying for those concert tickets and the sheets from Walmart and all of the things that are building Miley Cyrus's career.
You know, she's in that weird period of her life where obviously she's apologized to her fans, but she's also probably trying to segue into the older crowd, the kids that are 18, 19, 20. So should the younger kids be looking for another role model at this point, Jen?
I think that there's such a valuable lesson to be learned here, quite honestly. You know, if we are teaching our girls that one mistake and you're ruined forever, we're not giving them an opportunity to grow, to learn from their mistakes, to brush themselves off. You know, I think that we need to examine the fact that, you know, she's taking responsibility. That's such an important fact for our girls, because they are going to make mistakes, and that's okay.
And Ruth, final word?
I don't think she's taking responsibility. I think she got the word from Disney, and she did a 180, and I don't believe that we are, you know, truly remorseful for this. Bad judgment, and we're paying for it now.
All right, you can tell this controversy will continue in a lot of homes. Ruth Peters, Joanna Saltz, thank you both very much.